back practicing. How does it feel?
Yeah, good to be back out here. Obviously, sucks being on the sidelines watching. You're kind of itching at the bit to get back out here. So, no, it just feels good to get back out here, get some work in with the guys, and yeah, it feels good.
Can you describe sucks to be on the sideline? Just what that feeling is, be it game day, be it practice day?
Yeah, you put so much work into this, right? There's so many hours that goes into this to, be at your best so you can play at a high level, and maybe because it happened so quickly. Like I put so much work in the off season, and you come into training camp ready, and then first game comes along, and then boom, you're out, right? So I feel like I haven't had the chance to get going yet. So I think that's why it feels better just to be out here. It's not like I've had some games under my belt this year. Had to miss a couple. It was like right off the bat, so it feels good to get back out here.
However much you want to say, what was the injury?
Yeah, we don't really talk about injuries around here, so I'll leave it at that.
It looked like you kept going after you got hurt. And feel free to wave me off on that one too, but it feel like you kept going after you got hurt somehow.
Oh yeah, I kept going. It could have happened on the first play, second play, third play, fourth play of that first series, but I kept going.
What have the last couple weeks been like as far as making sure it's ready to go?
I spent a lot of time with Al and his training staff. I'm in the best hands here. I got full trust in Al and his staff, and working a ton with Braden in the weight room, and yeah, I feel, like I said, I trust them. So when you have a good support staff around you and a team around you, when you get back on the field, you can play confident.
So if a ball needs to be caught or a defender needs to be smashed, you feel like you're good to go.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. This is my first day out here practicing. We'll see how the week goes with me, kind of increasing the workload, and we'll see what happens.
Brady, you talked about how much work you put into this. So in the moment when you're banged up, how long does it take to kind of flush that and then get back to work? Like, is there a couple of days where you're like, damn?
Totally. Yeah, I think you need to kind of flush it as quick as you can. I think when you're battling an injury, I think you can give yourself some grace and allow yourself to be a little bit frustrated, and I think that's okay because, you do put a lot of work in, and when, an injury happens like that and it gets taken away from you where you can't go out there and compete with your guys, yeah, it's okay to be frustrated, but it is very important to flush it. I think, whether it's 24 or 48 hours max. And I think with myself, this injury, I learned a lot about myself throughout the whole, short rehab process. But I think why I was able to recover, I think, extremely fast in my mind is because I just had a really good mindset going into this. I was continuing to feed my mind positive thoughts throughout this, and I think when you do that, you allow your central nervous system to be at peace and be a little calm, and allows you to recover faster. So that's what I did, and I think that's what helped.
So when you learn more about yourself, is that what you're talking about, that maybe earlier in your career you wouldn't have been able to handle this better, as well as you have?
Yeah, I agree. I think I've matured a lot in many aspects of my life, and I think, I've had injuries early in my career, especially, my ankle, and I remember my rookie year just being in my feelings and having lots of dark days, and yeah, it was a tough time that I went through with my ankle injury. So I think there has been lots of growth and maturation, which I'm very proud about myself. And again, I think that's why I've healed really fast. It's taking that stress off your back, having laughs, coming into work with a positive mindset, positive attitude, and just control what you can control. I've been doing everything that I possibly can do to make sure that I get back out here as quick as I can, and if you do that, there's no complaints.
How much have you spent trying to help Matthew and Quentin too?
Yeah, you know what? On Thursday was kind of, I guess, my first time watching a game like that, and kind of being Coach Brady on the sidelines, and had an earpiece on, the quarterback wristband, and I was on the iPad with them on the bench, so it was interesting. It was an interesting perspective for me. I've obviously never have had that experience before, so I was trying to pour all my knowledge into them. Obviously, when live bullets are flying at you, it's good to have someone in your ear that maybe has some experience that they can share and some wisdom. So that's all I was doing. At the end of the day, I told them, play your game. You're here for a reason, but giving them some little nuggets here and there of maybe what I see and what I would do, and I think they did a great job.
One more for me. You've talked about this in the past, but now you get into your career. when it is taken away from you, even for a couple games, like being back on a day like today is everything. We've heard it from a lot of guys, right?
Yeah, you know, I've worked extremely hard to get where I am, and the position that I'm in, I really don't take it for granted. And when it gets taken away from you for a short time, you, yeah, you really start to miss it, and you really understand how special it is, and not even just the position, but just how special this organization is, this team, the group of men that I get to work with every single day. Like, you just miss being on the field and just hanging out with your boys. So there's lots that goes into it, and I'm just happy to be back out here.
I only got one for you, Brady. I mean, how comforting for you is knowing the team's winning, so you don't have to rush or feel like, anxious to get back in the lineup. You can just kind of let nature take its course. Is that part of it too?
Yeah, I think going back to that whole recovery process, right, as I was dealing with this injury, I think that was also what allowed me to have peace of mind. When I talk about filling my mind with positive thoughts and having good attitude, I think another factor was that we were winning, and it allowed me, not to have pressure on myself, understanding that I know I'm a big contributor to this team and to this offense, and I know that they need me out there, and to see them go out there and just play, total complementary football, offense, defense, special teams, everyone just coming together, playing together, and just, winning every single week. It definitely made me feel good, and I think allowed me to, okay, hey, you can take your time with this injury and come back when you feel ready.